since we're moving on to the next topic, and one of the main guys we've been talking about is James Harden. Are his MVP hopes and ideals, are they a real thing?
He had a good month. He had a really good month, historically good month. Um, but MVP, would you even put him over Kawhi right now?
See, that's a hard question for me, just because he has done so well over the past month with all his scoring that it's translated into wins. And this is going from looking like they were going to be out of the playoffs until I believe they're a top 5 seed. Let me check and make sure. Uh, yeah, they're top 4 seed, and they're number 4 right now in the West. So it's hard for me to say no when you've done something like that over the last couple of games. Like 9-1 since he started this streak, 6 in a row. I think he has 4 or 5 40-point games in this streak. It's really hard for me to say that he's not. Like, we can start talking about him. I wouldn't say
Okay.
he's a top 3, but if you want to go top 5 and he start cooking, he has a similar month in January, then we got to have him in this. It would
Then
be
Yeah.
who's your top?
crazy
Who's
for
your
us not
top
to
three
have him.
then?
You said what?
Who's your top three then?
Um, I ain't even think that far ahead, bro. Yeah, you're gonna have to come back to me on that one.
I, I
Levi,
I
who's
put
your top three?
I put Kevin Durant up there and possibly Stephen Curry too, man. But and then my last one would probably be whew, I'll put James Harden because Kawhi Leonard he sits out like every other game, so I don't know if he'll get disqualified for not having that many games on his list. I mean, on his you know,
He got more games than Steph Curry, bro.
what this year?
Yup. So
Maybe,
you
but
gotta
he
have him
has
on the
been
list if
sitting
you
out a
got
lot of
Curry.
games.
You
I
gotta
can't.
have him on the list if you got Curry. Curry got 28 compared to Kawhi's 31.
That's not even that far away.
Doesn't matter if you disqualify because the game's out, but you have Curry in. Come on, bro.
But his when he missed the game, like when he was missing the games, he was out consecutively, and Kawhi Leonard just sits out random games.
Levi, when I tell you I do not care, I
You
don't
do
care.
not care.
Your injury means nothing to me. You did not play. Same exact thing.
No, no way. I feel like Kawhi Leonard would miss more games than Stephen Curry.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell. If we were betting, I would have bet against.
Stephen Curry getting
Uh,
injured.
I would. Yeah, come on, bro. He has paper mache ankles. I'm supposed to
That's
put
true.
$20 on that. Nah, I can't
That's
do it.
true. That's true.
It is true.
That is
Um,
true. Fragile. He's
for
literally
me though, for me, James Harden's not. He's not above Giannis because Giannis affects his team more than anybody in the NBA, and that can be argued. Like his value towards his team is the most. He's the most valuable player for his team in the whole entire NBA, and he's putting up monster numbers again this year. The problem with him though is will it continue? Um, so like I don't even put him above Giannis, James Harden. Um, James Harden third maybe, tied for second maybe with Kawhi. Like honestly, um, he's had a good month. Well, he's had a great month, understatement of the year. But will it continue? Who I doubt it because this hasn't been done for a month. So to think that this will go on for 2 months is very, very, very unlikely. Clearly, we have to see, but it's very unlikely, especially with them moving up the Western ranks like they are. There's gonna be some teams like nah, nah, nah. We're gonna have to lock that down. You feel me? Um, so I don't think that he is number one, but he is in the running. He's top 4, along with I think Paul George, because Paul George is not getting the respect that's due this year, like at all in the mainstream. You know what I mean? But we all know that the MVP race is more of a momentum race. Like you'll forget who did good at the beginning of the year, or even in the middle of the year, but you'll never forget who finished off good. You know what I mean? It's a giant momentum race. But he's definitely not number 1 to me. No, right now at least.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's not too far off from me. Uh, Averaged 36 in the month of January, 31 in the month of November, 28 in October, and he's only played one game, but he did drop a 44 against Golden State and hit that game winner.
Ooh, that was nasty.
Like it's kind of it's I've been watching a lot of ESPN. They always talk about there's one statement game where you're like,
Oh my gosh.
this is it. Um, it's hard to say that wasn't a statement game. He did shoot a lot of threes though. Like that is mind blowing that he shot 23 threes and made 10. So yeah, that's crazy. So it's hard for me to. He's not far off, bro. If there's a top 5, he's number 4.
Yeah, I said top 4. You know, he's not number 1, but he top 4. Now, if he does the exact same thing, somehow, some way, next month as he did this month, then he'll be top 2 for sure. But that's yet to be seen, and I doubt that'll happen.
And I need him to get, if he does have another month like this, I need him to get that unanimous MVP, bro.
That's not gonna happen.
Just so I can, just so I never hear Steph Curry was the only unanimous MVP.
Which is asinine, but whatever. That actually makes no. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into that because that's ridiculous.
You're a Debbie Downer. Come on, bro. All right.
How about LeBron James? How about LeBron James, bro? Can you throw the guy in the list?
No.
Changing the whole outlet of the Lakers. You can't throw him on the list. Why not? Top 5?
We can give him. We can put him on top 5.
Just because he's LeBron. Okay, that's fine.
I mean, there is a poll out there that the NBA created for players, and the percentage, they had percentages of how they voted for players to get chance to get MVP this year, and LeBron was up there. So was Kevin Durant. What's up?
No one cares.
I thought you were a statistic guy.
I am a statistics guy, but that is not the statistic I care about.
So how you gonna be a statistic guy and you don't care about?
I can choose which ones are valid to me.
I'm bringing to you,
bruh. That is a player's vote, and when was that taken? At the beginning of the season?
It's not a player's vote, guy.
You just said it was a player's vote. You just said the player's vote.
It's not a player's vote.
What is it?
Las Vegas, baby.
Nobody care about Las Vegas either.
Everybody cares about Las Vegas.
Alan,
okay.
A lot of care about Las Vegas.
Okay. Okay. Let me go ahead and say this. Because I am not betting on it, it does not matter. And unless Vegas has a lot of the writers' votes, it does not matter what they think.
Alan,
it Vegas does help.
The percentage of how right Vegas tends to be, because people are legitimately putting money on it, is way higher than you're giving it credit for.
Yeah, that was also at the beginning of the season. Is that current?
Oh yeah, it was in the beginning of the season.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it was in the beginning of the season. So
make sure your stats are refreshed before you bring them to me, sir.
Okay, I got you.
Shut up.
I got you, young buck.
I got you, young buck.
Right.
He pretty much called you boy.
Yeah, don't disrespect me like that, bro. Phillip, you just the instigator. Okay. So James Harden got to have another month for him to be the lead for MVP.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's fine. And he will. Matter of fact.
No, he won't. Levi.
Come on, man. I'm saying
no one's had a month as good. No one's had a month as good.
I'm not saying he's gonna have a 40 ball every single night, but I can
he needs to have a 40 ball every night.
30 ball consecutive. 30 balls consecutively. I could see that happen. And then 12 assists or 11 assists there, 10 assists. I don't know about the triple double though.
Yeah.
So
Maybe a
no
double.
one likes his game because he gets to the free throw line so much. Though, so
Yeah,
Right. Can we
that's
talk
true.
about that? Because that bothers me.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not like someone because they get to the free throw line? When one
oh
of some people's biggest concerns for certain players is that
no,
they don't get to the free throw line.
no, but it's not how you. It's not that he's getting to the free throw line per se. It's how he's getting to the free throw line, right? So like he's taking advantage of the rules of the NBA today, which are extremely soft, right? So he's taking advantage of it and getting like 15 points a night just from shooting free throws. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
by going by not necessarily like they're playing defense, and then he says going into them. Yet the referee should call it like they should be more angry at the referees than they are at him. But he's the one that's like exploiting the rules of the game of 2018, 2019. You know what I mean? And it's just like, why? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's like as a competitor and somebody who is, a peer of his, I could definitely see how that would be annoying because, because you're just, I don't even know. It's just, you're just exploiting the rules. Pretty much all it is. Like using like if you played in any other so like how this. If you're LeBron James, right? You can legitimately say if LeBron James played in the 90s, 80s, 70s, he'd be good, right? You can say that for a majority of people. But the way James Harden plays, he'd be good in 2018, 2010, and you don't even know before that. You have no idea because his whole game is based off of the rules of the game today. You know what I mean? Because like if you can't foul him, you can't really play defense on him. And then if you can't really play defense on him, then he's gonna do whatever he wants. And in earlier generations, his that you would not be able to do that whatsoever. So like is he an all time great or is he a great for 2018? And that's what it is to me personally.
Or in this era. I'll say
Look,
in this era he is.
yeah, I I can't agree with that because I get it that this decade has been the rules have been a little bit more freeing for the offensive player,
You said a
but the
little bit.
fact that, huh?
You said a little bit.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what
Oh,
I said.
okay.
You know what I meant. It has been
Uh,
freer for the offensive player, but for the past 5 years, we're talking about a guy who is pretty much unstoppable when it comes to offense.
yes,
It's hard for
because
me to believe that somebody who shoots this well and is strong enough to get to the hoop and creative with the handle, I think he could do that just about in every era, but I don't understand being mad because he's the only one who's figured out how to get over on the rules. Like that doesn't
first of
make
all,
sense.
I don't think it's people are mad that he. Oh, okay, I don't think he's the only one to figure it out, right? But I don't think people are like out there trying to. First of all, people are good at different things, but what he's good at is drawing the foul, and like honestly, that will never get you in like an all-time great category. Like James Harden the other day was like James Harden was like he's one of the, somebody said I think it was his GM said he's one of the greatest offensive players of all time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh, that's not true. That's
Yes,
completely
more.
not true.
you sleep.
No,
You sleep.
that's completely not true.
It's not.
Based on the reason I just said, because for the greatest players of all time, you can say if they're for a fact that their offensive skill sets will translate to all eras, if not a majority of the eras. James Harden translates to this one, and that's it. Literally, that's it. Because the only reason his jump shot, or the only reason he gets so much space on his jump shot, is because people are afraid to foul him. It's all based on the predicate of the soft foul. That's literally it. You can't foul him, so you can't get up into him. Because he's gonna draw the foul and just try to get to the free throw line. Like in any other era, that does not fly whatsoever. Because if he gets to the rim, first of all, yeah, he can get to the rim, but no one's touching him. You know what I mean? because James Harden is strong. He's very, very, very strong. Like, and he's very athletic. No one it's underrated how athletic he is. Instead of using his 40-inch vertical to go vertical, he uses it to go horizontal, and it's like crazy how far his Euro steps are. But that has nothing to do with anything about how he plays his game, right? There's always athletic people playing, but how does he use his athleticism? He doesn't use athleticism, and he uses athleticism to draw the foul. That's pretty much all it is. And if you can't draw the foul, his game is completely changed. You have no idea how his game would be if he doesn't play in 2018, through like 2010 or whatever it is. That's how the rules have softened up. That's all it is. So like for him to for Jimmy to say he's one of the greatest offensive players of all time, I can name a ton off the top of my head that are worlds better than him. That are still playing in the game right now. That you could say would more easily translate to other generations. Come on now. When you say greatest offensive player, you're not talking about number 20. You know what I mean? Like James, you're talking about number 5, number 10. That's what you're talking about. You're not talking about deep down the line. So like that was an asinine statement to me by this GM, but he's not an all-time great offensive player to me. Not at all.
I can't agree with that, but I've said my piece on it. Never fault the man for finessing his time. You don't think he would have, if he couldn't figure out this rule, you don't think he would have been able to figure out it in, I don't know, early 2000s? And not only that, you know who else was really good at getting people to draw contact, and we say he's like a top 5 shooting guard of all time?
Who?
Dwayne Wade.
Wade, I knew
First of all,
in his prime, he was really good at hitting you with that pump fake and then leaning in for that.
But you can't compare that to James Harden.
You can't.
You cannot compare.
You can't.
No.
You just can't,
James
bro.
Harden goes to free throw line more than anybody in NBA history.
Ever history, bro.
He took it to the next level.
Oh my god! You could really. First of all, Dwayne. How about this? James Harden. When he draws his fouls, he hits you with that with the arm swing. He hits you with like that. That whole like going to the rim. You like grab his arm. He throws it up, right? Dwayne Wade had to wear football player pads when he went to the rim. Because not that he was trying to draw the foul, he went to the rim so hard that you drew the foul. It's a difference.
I get going to the rim and getting that contact. He was going in to score, not to get the contact. But I'm talking about when he does not have a dribble and he hit that pump fake. Nobody ever complained about it. He still does it, and now people are like, "Look at him! He's been doing that since he was a rookie."
Because he wasn't going to the free throw line 15 times a game off that one move. It might have been 2 or 3 times, or not even 3, like 1 or 2 times a game off that move.
So it becomes an issue when people can't stop you.
No, it becomes an issue when that turns out to be a majority of your game, and you're doing something, say 15 times, doing something 7 times a game, right? 7 8 times a game, and then doing something 2 times a game. The 7 times is taking advantage. The 2 times is just doing what you do. That's how it is. 7 times is just literally taking advantage of the rules, taking advantage of the game. If you are doing this, if you went to the free throw line 15 times a game, that's unheard of. Even for big men who are getting elbowed in the back of the head in the paint, that's unheard of. Dwayne Wade, the pump fake, yeah, he's been doing it for a long time. And he's been doing it for a long time. But the NBA had to change the rules on what James Harden's been doing. The NBA didn't have to change the rules on what Dwayne Wade did because it didn't seem like he was taking advantage of the rules because he's not getting a majority of his, or not majority, well, sometimes a majority of his points from that one move. And also, there's a way to defend that move, right? You just people defend it all the time because now it's more than Dwayne Wade just doing it, right? It's a lot of other people doing it. People defend it all the time. People fall for it all the time. Don't get me wrong, but people defend it all the time too. But James Harden, you are incapable of playing defense. You have LeBron James, one of the greatest defensive players. LeBron James, overall, is one of the greatest defensive players we've ever seen. Like that can't be, that's one of that can't be argued. Excluding
I don't know about that, but I don't know about that, Phil. But we'll talk about it different.
Excluding since he's gotten older, he's one of the greatest defensive players of all time, right? Hey, LeBron, go lock down Derrick Rose in his prime. LeBron did what? Lockdown Derrick.
He could do that.
LeBron until like probably his later years in the Heat. No, the first year of his last stint in Cleveland, he was holding the best players on the team, right? Because LeBron was athletic. Now he's older, and LeBron's really slack on defense. You watch, but for a long time he wasn't. What was my point?
We don't know.
No,
Well,
no.
I know.
Hold on. Okay, no. There we go. I found it. So like but like even with him being as great as a defensive player he is, if he has to over exaggerate and put his hands behind his back to guard James Harden, that something's up. Something's up but no one had to do that when they're going Dwayne Wade off the pump fake because it's only happening twice a game. The Lakers literally almost lost that game because of James Harden goes to the free throw line, and they're not the only ones. That happens every year, all the time. So there's a difference between having a move and a difference between taking advantage. Those are two different things. And James Harden did one. Dwayne Wade didn't do the other one.
It's hard for me to get mad at anyone who's finessing the system. And James Harden is finessing the system in a way that no one else has ever been able to. And it's all in the context of the game. It's all in the context of the rules. It's not like he is doing a little bit of flopping action, but the refs can be like, stop that. The refs can not give him the call. If they truly felt that it wasn't happening, they wouldn't give him the call. But clearly,
no.
Either
no. You can't do that. But a referee can't do that. Because yes,
they can.
Yes, no, they can't. Yes, he's finessing the rules, but guess what? There's still the rules, and they have to make the call. Now, during the meetings before the season happened, in the off season, that's when they discuss these things. But during the season, they can't just be like, "No, he did it on purpose," because they can't do that kind of stuff. But they put emphasis on certain rules, beginning during the off season, and that's when they talk about these things. But during the season, no, that's not what they talk about these things. So the referee can't just be like, "No, we can't do that." That's why they had the whole rule change about, the swing through on the 3-point line. Is it a shooting foul or not a shooting foul? That's when they take care of this kind of stuff. And it took them a couple years to figure that one out. You know what I mean? So, like, this one, a referee just can't single-handedly be like, nah, no, I'm not going to call that. That's not how they are able to do things.
Okay, sure, Phillip. But until they either work some type of rule around or people learn how to defend it, don't hate on James Harden because he's the only one who getting it that way. Like, I get your anger, but nah, bro, he winning. I'm sorry.
But it's not as effective in the playoffs as the regular season because he just gets frustrated in the playoffs because the refs don't call a lot of the fouls that he gets in the regular season.
That's very true, and that's why you see a decline every single year of him in the. He's not going to get the same calls every single year. There's been a decline of James Harden. It's not a coincidence when it's been 5 years or 4 years or whatever it's been in a row. You know what I mean?